Let's do it. Number 20.
Number 20, Huell's Gold. Buildings.
Buildings.
You saw it on the description or on the title, and you still decided to click buildings. So this week we start off in a little place called Bayliss. And I always ask you this. I already know the answer.
Have I been to Bayliss?
Have you been to Bayliss?
No.
Has anyone been to Bayliss?
A better question would be, has anyone been to Glenn County? Well, not anybody, but have you been to Glenn County?
Probably not.
All right. I'm sure I've driven through it.
Yeah, it seems like on that I-5 route up there. But this is some rural stuff.
Like really rural.
Rural. So Huell went deep into the pasture on this one, because that's where he starts, is a cow pasture.
This is one of my favorite intros. I know I say that a lot, but
Yeah.
I kind of like this one.
Well, why?
It's a bit different. Well, first of all, he's starting just talking on a fence.
He's sitting on a fence.
He's just shlamied on the fence.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he just jumps off. And he's on the top rung. He's probably about 4 feet off the ground.
Yeah. But it's funny because if you watch it, he does the little thing and then he jumps and you can hear his big old boots slapping on the grass and kind of, and then the music starts. Well, I'll call it music.
Is it a choir?
Yes, in theory, because as you heard at the beginning of this episode, it was let's call it an amateur choir with accompaniment by the tiniest keyboard they could find, I think.
It's so small.
Yeah. But we didn't get a name on them.
No, it didn't.
I mean, we get some of the names later because these are just the members of our first building. They're part of why Huell went there, and they're singing the theme this week. And I'm glad that they upped for the polyphonic Yamaha, because I remember having one of these back in the day, and there was the monophonic, which only played one tone at a time. Mm-hmm. But you see this lady's playing chords. She got the polyphonic.
Dang.
So thank goodness for that, because this theme would have been trash if it was monophonic.
When I first looked at it, I didn't even think it was plugged in.
It doesn't need to be. It's got a little built-in speaker in it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I had this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How old were you when you had this?
I got it for Christmas on my 4th birthday.
No.
I got it for Christmas on my 4th birthday, I say. No, I got it for Christmas when I was 4. It is a good keyboard. I don't know if I'd want to do a TV theme song with it, but it was okay. But I guess we should really let Huell tell us why we're in this little tiny town with this amateur choir. So Huell, hit us up.
You can find Bayliss in very small print on some highway maps. It's located right in the middle of a rich agricultural area. In fact, literally right out in the middle of a lot of big fields. And this is it. A few houses, some barns and sheds, some horses and cows. And right on the corner, almost hidden among some big shade trees, is this tiny community's pride and joy. A little building that's been the center of the community for 75 years now. Bayliss was the first rural community in the United States to get funds from the Carnegie Foundation. And when they opened up their Carnegie Library, it was quite an event. Now, 75 years later, this little branch library is probably the only functioning Carnegie Library left that is truly rural. There's no town with it. Now, I've been invited to visit this little library by Linda Peel, the Bayliss branch supervisor. In fact, Linda wrote me a letter telling me about a very special event at the library that I just had to attend. It took place on a Saturday morning and involved lots of the local citizens. It was a beehive of activity, people all over the place, inside and outside, washing and waxing, dusting and scraping, cleaning and scrubbing. Welcome to the annual Paint Up Fix Up Day at the Bayliss Branch Library, a day when the people who use the library volunteer their time to keep it in shape.
Well, there it is. We're on the corner of Road 39 and Road W.
We sure are. I've never heard of roads called Road whatever, especially with Road W.
Have you ever been inside of Carnegie Library?
No, you mentioned this a couple episodes ago. Like, the only reason I know about them is because of the show. Where was the one you went to?
It was in Livermore.
Okay.
It's the Carnegie Library, and I think the park is called Carnegie Park. They just made a park around it. Because why not?
Yeah, yeah.
And that one was built in 1911, I think. And then in 1966, it was turned into a museum.
Seems like a lot of these buildings have been turned into other things, because this one here, the Bayliss Branch Library, is the only, as they claim it, like rural,
right,
working Carnegie Library.
Well, I know the park, it's pretty much right in downtown Livermore, and they have farmers markets around it. So there you go.
We went there once, right?
Yeah. Did we get a churro? Coffee?
Yeah, something. There's a train car there too, right?
Train car? No, I don't think so.
I'm thinking of something else.
Maybe.
Who
Whatever.
knows?
Maybe it is.
I've been to too
I
many
could be
places,
wrong.
I guess. Anyway,
Oh, we went to one in Pleasanton. Have you been there? It was the old police station, but now it's the historical or the museum downtown.
drove past it, didn't go
Okay.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. A few people here thought that we had one of these libraries as well. You know, the Baker, the first library on Baker Street.
Because it kind of looks, it's got the same kind of architectural doohickeys on the outside.
It does, but apparently it was built with thanks to old Truxton Beale. You wrote an undergraduate paper, right, on old Eddie?
Yeah, his Papa Beale. Yeah. It's funny because you can write a lot about Edward Beale, but at a certain point, it all starts to become about Truxton because he did so much in his father's name. Like a lot of the things that are named after him are because of his son.
So if you drive through downtown Bakersfield, you're probably going to hit Truxton
Avenue.
And since we do not have a crosstown freeway, you're going to hit Truxton Extension.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why it's spelled that way.
Yeah.
Truxtun.
Yeah.
So you can spot someone not from here when they go with the TON.
Yep. Exactly. And Beale Library is on Truxton Avenue.
There it is.
Well, so it's cool that Huell's showing us this building, and it's got its own little historical significance to it. But other than that, we're really here on cleanup day.
I love the name.
Yep.
Paint Up Fix Up Day.
It's great that they do this, but maybe do it more than once.
Right.
Then you don't have to spend the whole day. Like maybe do a little bit every week. Because this place is open once a week.
For 4 hours.
Yeah, Tuesdays.
1 to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So I looked it up to see first if this place is still open.
Yeah.
And they're holding fast to that Tuesday only.
Okay.
But they upped it from 4 hours to 8 hours.
Oh, finally. Because, I mean, what are these people going to do from sun up to 1 on Tuesdays?
I don't know.
Just wait at the door waiting for, what's her name, Linda to open it?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess so. Speaking of Linda.
Yeah, I want to bring her up for a plethora of reasons.
A plethora.
Yeah.
Well, from the Bayliss youth crew at the beginning here, you know, you would think by their low energy, you would be fooled if you were going to think Linda also shared this energy, because she comes out of the gates a-hugging.
Hard hugs.
Hard hugs.
Yeah.
She goes over the top of Huell.
Yeah.
And gives him a nice...
You ain't getting right out of the gate, too, because he's literally just outside of the gate when she's running in to hug him.
He gives her a good one, too.
Oh, yeah. He's into it. So I wanted to talk about her because she's in the scene a lot. But I like this opening scene because she's still got her little jacket on. And it looks like it's made of the same fabric that Martin Crane's chair was made out of. But only a reddish hue instead of a green. But upholstery jacket aside.
To find the manufacturer, because, well, first they have to admit that they made it, exactly. Right? Like Frasier.
But once she gets inside, she takes it off, and she's got this pink ensemble that she wears that sets her apart from the rest of the crew. Well, no, because then we got the lady with the cat sweater. Her name was Sue Rollins, Henry's dad.
So the thing I'm confused about, not confused, that's a little strong, but I feel like, people haven't been in this place for the whole year, because they talk about how dirty it is and how they need to clean it up. It seems like it's been unoccupied for about 10 years.
Yeah. Which, they don't say anything about that. It's been continuously in operation, but it seems like they just open the door Tuesday. Everyone's slamming. It's like Black Friday in Bayliss. Everyone's getting their books, and they got to just jump out because Linda's closing the door. That's the impression I'm getting.
Yeah.
Because they don't seem to have any time to clean except this one day a year.
I know. And you liked Milo, right?
Milo,
the mouse hole patcher.
Yeah. I guess Milo didn't go to college after all, but yeah.
Do you also know what didn't happen?
What?
What do you think? Well, I don't think our lady over here at 4 minutes pulled up her fly all the way.
Yeah.
And we're so used to Huell, just jumping in there. I thought maybe he would give it old zip.
Just for her, zip it up. Yeah, I don't think it would be nearly as noticeable if they didn't start the shot, a tight shot in right on the midsection of her. But
it's the center of the screen.
Yeah.
Is her zipper not all the way up? Yeah.
Yeah. But she's been bending down, waxing these old oak chairs, and she's having a good time. So let's just let her free float.
I'm not out there, right? I'm not waxing chairs.
Exactly.
So there it is.
So another one of the more colorful ladies was, I don't think we got her name. She's after we talked to Sue, and she also has, I noticed that a lot of the ladies have a particular kind of, I don't want to call it, it's like a form of dress. They all have these colorfully printed collared shirts popping out of crew neck sweaters. And
maybe it was coordinated. Maybe paint up, fix up day is crew neck with a collar popping out day.
Well, there's the other lady who's got like a cardigan, and she must that's the rebel. She's the rebel.
Oh, yeah, she still colors her hair. Everyone else has white hair.
That's true, yeah.
She goes against the grain.
Well, hopefully she doesn't go against the grain on the sanding job she's doing on the stupid bookshelf. Actually, that's a fireplace. There's a fireplace in the library. I didn't notice that before. That's integral information to know about this Carnegie Library. I guess it's kind of cool that this place still existed, because obviously the Carnegie Library was designed in a way to bring literature and newspapers, other things, to these rural communities. And most of those towns have gone because they're like gold rush towns. Yeah, this is kind of where that area is.
All right.
So, yeah, I guess it still serves a purpose. And these people needed it to be there.
Right. And not just the Mennonite kids who don't watch TV.
Yeah, do you believe that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know the area, but I guess if it's just Mennonites that surround the area, then maybe.
Yeah, if it but you know that, if old Kevin down the street isn't Mennonite and he has a TV, they're all going to go over there and watch season 3 of Seinfeld. Like, that's what's happening.
Seinfeld, not Frasier. I can't get behind
it. It's not 93?
Yeah, dude.
When it debut?
Hold on.
Looking it up.
This is amazing.
Although I should have known this.
Yeah.
I didn't. It was September 16th, 1993. So there you go.
Okay. So
maybe.
Well, if anything, they were probably watching the finale of Cheers, which just happened like the spring prior. So they were like dealing with the end of Sam in the bar, and then, where's Frasier going? They were probably seeing the promos that were leading up to Frasier.
Maybe they were rewatching Cheers and just had, they rewatched it all the way up to the finale, watched it in preparation.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So that's what the Mennonite kids were doing.
It's funny too that the woman who's I think it was Linda who was talking about the no TV Mennonite having kids. She's talking to a television host. It seemed a bit like, oh yeah, okay, come on in, Huell, we'll do our interview, but like, we're not watching this, right? If you write about it in a book, Louis, 27 years later, we'll read about it. Do you think they're doing that?
I'll be sure not to. Left it out of this one.
Do you think Louis' book is in this library?
No.
No?
I'm going to guess this library, I don't know. Do you think it's been updated since 83?
There have been some new... Okay, you think they don't have the Harry Potter books?
Dude, they're open 8 hours a week. I don't know what they have. I mean, maybe they have an interlibrary transfer program.
For Harry Potter. Yeah. I mean, I hope they have Louis' book. But either way, it's cool that it's still around. And I'll bet you anything Linda's still the head librarian.
I'll go with that, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go with it. Because she doesn't seem like she's too up there in age or experience level.
And I'm not going to check it because I want to believe that.
Yeah. Plus, I really don't think they're going to have that information just out there.
True.
But either way, cool way to start the buildings episode. You thought this was going to be dry? You thought this was going to be just about architecture? Yeah, right.
It's more about the stories inside the building than it is...
Buildings are useless without the people inside them.
Oh, true.
Huell, where are we going next? It's located about 55 miles northeast of Palm Springs, the town of Twentynine Palms, right out in the middle of the Mojave Desert, in an area known as the Morongo Basin. Now, this is hot and beautiful country, with big mountains and wide vistas. The town of Twentynine Palms itself is probably best known as the location of the big Marine Corps base and as the headquarters of Joshua Tree National Monument, over 500,000 acres of spectacular national parklands. But our specific destination in Twentynine Palms was across the street from Lucky Park, and we'd been invited there to witness the beginning of a historic event. It all started back in 1927, when the residents of Twentynine Palms decided they needed a schoolhouse, and literally built one themselves with volunteer labor. The building quickly became the center of the community, was added onto over the years, and was used as a school until 1954, when it became an administration building. A few years ago, it was abandoned and was going to be torn down until the members of the Twentynine Palms Historical Society found out about it, rose up and said, hey, let's save our old schoolhouse and turn it into a museum. The only problem was to save this historic old building, it would have to be moved from its original location 2 miles across town to some land owned by the Historical Society.
Well, there it is.
29 Palms.
As a kid, I always thought it was 29. Not 29, but 29 with the 29, not the word.
What do you mean?
Just 29 Palms.
Oh, you thought like that's how you would write it out?
Yeah, I still do. Look at my notes.
You did. Well, I did too. Look, 29 Palms.
It wasn't even just shorthand, though. I'd actually
Oh, mine
still
was
do
shorthand,
that. You know what? Yeah, mine was shorthand.
Okay, whatever. So this is pretty cool that because this is something that happens in our town a lot too. This moving of buildings to a centralized location to keep them from being demolished.
And we have how many buildings are at the current
Like 40
county?
something, right?
Yeah,
110,
so they're pros.
640,
Well,
more than 29.
Well, they're just moving the speakeasy, right? Off 24th.
Is that the
Just did
next
that.
one?
I think they did, yeah.
'Cause I know they just did Merle Haggard's childhood home. That's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
We got the schoolhouse too, which is where all of our Kern County Museum lectures happen.
Yep.
And this is the 29 Palms version of it. And this is where we start ramping it up with the funniness factor, because only the truest, like, kind of history freaks would come out and just watch this happen. Like, a certain type of person would go and see it before it's moved. Oh, one last time. And then there's a lot of people who would go and see it after it's moved, but the actual moving.
Oh, yeah. It brings the good ones out.
Speaking of, right off the bat, it's Gene.
Ludwig?
Gene Ludwig.
Of the 29 Palms Historical Society. You're talking about
the president
The
of.
president?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what about her?
Well, okay, her aunt, well, she's standing next to Ginny Salisbury. And Ginny, first off, let's do Ginny first because she deserves her own description.
Okay.
Turtleneck, thick turtleneck, maroon.
Are those puka shells? No, this is...
No, that is many turquoise beads.
Mm.
And it looks like she's got a nice collection of bangles on.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what the big green ribbon represents. I don't know. That's not important. Just her large collection of turquoise around her neck. But she pales in comparison to the president, Gene Ludwig, who...
Do you want to start with the best or save it for last?
Okay, well, she's got a bright pink blazer to start us off.
And she's wearing the traditional school teacher necklace.
Like plastic doohickeys that, like, one's a schoolhouse, one's a apple. Just, I don't even know. Just, yeah, a school teacher necklace. And just glasses, right? Those are just glasses.
Well, those are one pair of glasses. When she first... we see these more clearly a little later in the second interview. But you and I just watched this again. When she sees Huell, she rips off the sunglasses that she's wearing over her other glasses. She pulls them off her face really quickly.
I mean, it happens more often now because of the whole 3D glasses thing, and us as glasses wearers, we know what that feels like.
Dude, this is an avatar.
I mean, maybe... I don't even know. Yeah, there's no... I mean, just get some permatints.
I know.
Oh, Gene.
That's...
I'm loving her. But they seem to be the ones who kind of got this ball rolling because they talk about hounding the city council to allow them to have this building because it was just set to be demolished. And they're like, okay, 2 years to move it. And they got it. They're getting it moved. And we see that they got it moved by the Allied Heavy Moving Company.
Which this almost turns into, I don't know, like a commercial.
Yeah, it's funny.
Instead of
because there's the banner, and then good old Bill.
And we were looking this up a bit, right?
Yeah.
So they're located out of Blooming, California, which is, if anyone knows where Fontana is, right off the 10.
There.
Right there. They moved this thing for $22,000.
Yeah.
Which you did the calculation, right, for the inflation-adjusted price?
Yeah, sure, that was me.
If they were going to move this today, and old William here was going to keep his same prices, they would have paid $39,287.
Okay, so first question. Well, before I go into the questions, we found all that from the 29 Palms Historical Society website that also told a little bit about the whole Huell meeting, and we'll talk about that in a second. So Bill Foreman of Allied Heavy Moving, if his work title is not foreman, come on, dude.
I know. He was made for the job.
Yes. Willie Foreman. Secondly, Bill talks about, the money of it. The money's one thing, but the other thing is keeping the history alive and all that malarkey. Bill, you don't even live there. We know this from our research. Like, I'm sure it's kind of cool to you, but $22K.
You got $22K.
Yeah,
flown in your direction.
And if you're the foreman, Bill Foreman, you're probably getting a hefty chunk of that 22.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So it does seem funny that Huell will interview. Well, no, this is why. Look what he's wearing. I know.
I was going to point it out to you.
Okay. He's got the uniform on. The button-up collared shirt with the sunglasses holder. That's Huell spots him, and he's like, I got to talk to that guy. And he didn't even know. Oh, he's in charge of the whole move. Well, might as well advertise his company.
Right.
Which is not even around anymore, it doesn't seem like, right?
I couldn't find it, no.
Couldn't find it. Maybe it's merged with.
But he's also wearing the mesh trucker hat.
Yes.
And do you notice the way the sun is hitting his head? We can see that he's wearing it grandpa style. Not letting the top of the cap touch the crown of his head.
Yeah.
He's hover wearing it.
There's like 3 inches of space between head to top?
At least 3 inches. You got a decent breeze flowing over the top there.
Well, after Bill, we move on to Gene, where we get to see the real double glasses.
It's double.
How dare I mess up your made-up term?
Oh, man.
But this dude behind her with the Nike shirt and like the red flannel over top.
The gazer?
Yeah, this is the guy right here. This is the main man of the shot because there's nothing he needs to be doing in this shot at all. He just wants to be on TV so bad.
I'm going to tell you, and this is something my dad would have done.
Oh,
dude, dude, for sure. He wore a South Pole shirt that he got at Ross.
No way.
That zips up, and he called it his Superman shirt, and he wore it for like 12 years around the house.
Oh, man. I never heard about that one. That's good.
Oh, man.
I would do this where I would... You've seen the times I've done this. Mm-hmm. When there's TV filming going on, and I just go stand.
Yeah.
Like one of the Star Wars movies openings. They were filming this little girl dressed as Princess Leia, and then there's just stupid me just standing in the background just so I could get on TV. And I don't know why I do it. Every time I see it, I gotta go walk.
Yeah, I don't do that. I always try to get away if I ever see a camera because I'm afraid they're going to interview me. Like, and you know, for things that I don't really want to be interviewed for.
Yeah,
I just avoided it recently. And there was one time I was scarred, though. And that was because a guy from the Rachel Maddow show, when Trump was running, because we were like a conservative town, he was coming through. He cornered me after I had brunch at the Crystal Palace. and interviewed me for
You talked about this.
Yeah, it was no fun.
No. And
He said it would be fun.
I
was
think
no fun.
I'll tell you where mine started from. Where I grew up, the house I grew up in, behind our backyard was just like an open field. They hadn't built any houses there yet. There are now. Back then there weren't. And 2 separate times, the kids next door thought it would be a great idea to shoot the big transformer on top of the telephone pole with a BB gun. And of course it explodes, and then it rains sparks down on this dry Bakersfield grass, catches it on fire. The first time this happens, I totally put that fire out. Not even joking. I'm 9 years old. I called 911 first because that's what you're supposed to do, and then I put the fire out. Do you know who got interviewed on the news about it?
You did.
No.
What?
I stood there waiting to be interviewed. I even popped a board loose from the fence so I could go on the other side.
What?
Yeah, and go talk to the news lady. And then some dude on a bike just rides up. Hey, yeah, I thought I saw a fire. Oh, let me interview you for 15 minutes on KGT. Give me a break.
So this is such an opposite story of my life. You know this story?
I don't think so.
When I was home, I think I stayed home from school that day. I don't remember, but I do recall that I rented from Hollywood Video, like WrestleMania 7.
Okay.
I popped it on, was laying on the couch, didn't feel well, smelled something, looked across the street. Across the street neighbor's house was on fire. And what was my first thought? It was, I'm not going to call 911 because I don't want to be on the news.
No way.
And then I rationalized it by saying, oh, we have good neighbors, so they'll call. And that was it.
Oh, dude.
Well, apparently someone did, because within a minute after me saying this to myself, it was like 3 fire trucks showed up. Yeah, so.
Yeah. So I guess we grew up as different kids.
Which is so different.
Yeah. Well, I guess as a long tangent to say that this dude is standing in the shot with his Nike shirt. But it's a good-looking shirt. I don't blame him. And then he just walks away. Then we get started with the actual move, which Bill has to, give the okay for the truck to go. But there's a whole parade.
This is the thing for the city.
Yeah, and we know how much Huell loves a parade and to get in the way of him. And right off the bat, Louis is right in the middle of the street in front of the Marines. But
what song was that marching band playing?
Oh, you know what song they playing.
I don't know. What was it?
Well, we're going to hear it as our outro theme because they blared a great version of California Here I Come, which I guess we can get into the Huell story on the Historical Society website we saw because what's her name? Jean was thinking before all this was happening, oh, maybe Huell would want to come down. And so they call him. He says, no, I can't make it. And then they beg him, so they say. And he says, all right, I'll come down. And they see him in the crowd. This sounds like a little
legend.
phony baloney a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we see Huell and Louis in the crowd. And we couldn't believe it. They were here. And then they beckon him over and all this stuff. So we got it. That begs the question, did they bring the California Here I Come music?
Ah, I see where you're going with.
Or did Gene set this whole thing up?
Well, it's a good question because I feel like if the band was going to play it just for the outro, they would have had them set up in the middle of the desert like they always do.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been part of the parade.
I think it was part of the parade. Yeah, I don't know then.
Plus, it's not the hardest song in the world, but it probably would need a rehearsal or two.
I would think so.
And I got to imagine that there's both things happening. There are showing up on the day, and Huell just happens to have his little music folder as if he's, second clarinet in his band. And he's like, here you go, can you play this? And then they just read it and sing it or play it. And then there's the times when it's set up ahead of time. And this is like the burning question to me. How do they find these people in this day and age? Like these early 90s, like last week's theme, the three singers, which one of them actually did get, I'm in the middle of communication with. I might get some stories out of her. But I got to know, like, who contacted you? How did that happen?
Right.
Because I know our other musician who we've talked to, Richard, he said that he just happened upon Huell at the Weed Patch episode, and then they had his contact info for later. But
I wonder if it's, let's say Gene contacted Huell.
yeah.
It's like, well, hey, if you're going to get me out there, I'm going to tell you what, he has some demands, I would say.
Okay,
You're going to need to have some people, because, in Airheads, when they ask for a helmet full of cottage cheese.
Oh, do I know about Airheads? Like you got to ask that question.
It's a great movie. That's what I imagine.
The best movie to play every single Saturday on Comedy Central for 10 years straight.
Oh, man. Well,
so you're going to go with the helmet full of cottage cheese, not the custom PRS guitar with the dragon inlay? The dragon inlay in the neck? Okay. So the walking and moving, like there's people walking along with the school building as it's being moved.
is there anyone in particular that makes you uncomfortable?
Everyone does, but particularly this wraparound shades. She looks like the Boz, Brian Bosworth, that football player. Do you remember him?
Football player.
From the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except she had a flat top. It would really make it.
Yeah, but she's being as dangerous as he was on the field, but by endangering her child's life by walking underneath the school while it's moving on a truck.
Hey, man, at least it wasn't wobbling.
CPS, here I come.
The new song?
No. But one of my favorite interviewees in the middle of the parade is this dude. I don't know, no name, just this dude. He's got a track, like a windbreaker track jacket over a polo shirt with a pretty worn out visor on, holding a newborn baby. And he said that he wanted to bring his kids out, especially her being the newborn, so she could build some memories of this historic event. Now, I remember stuff when I was, 3, 4 years old, maybe the age of the son, who he doesn't seem to care much for. But yes, the newborn is who he wants to build the memories for.
The only thing they're building is maybe resistance to the sun, because this kid does not have a visor on.
But Huell kind of feels the lack of attention that the son is getting and asks him, "How do you like the walk?" It was cool. All right.
That's cool, kid. Your shirt's cool too.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a neon screen print Michael Jordan shirt.
Yeah.
With the surfer cut. Yeah, that's a cool kid. Cool boy. But then the move continues. We interview a teacher who's been with the Twentynine Palms district for 35 years, and he went in the building when it was a school. And pretty run-of-the-mill interview, whatnot. But then they got to move the whole dang old stop sign out of the way.
And then Huell talks to another Marine.
Yeah.
I was asking you about this. Why is it that Huell never mentions that he's a Marine? 2 Marines.
I don't know. It's funny because I've watched a lot of episodes ahead, and even it comes up in visiting episodes a lot too. People always bring that up to him, and he always just changes the subject. He never kind of goes down that road of his military service time.
Just bad memories, or
I don't know. I mean, he was a reservist, though. It's not like he was, as far as I know, in active duty. There isn't that much information on his tenure as a Marine, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't want to bring it up.
Maybe we'll never know.
Unfortunately not. Who's this last guy we got?
That's old Billy Holmes.
Billy Holmes, yeah.
And he's pretty run-of-the-mill old guy from the era.
Yeah.
Wearing an 88 Olympics mesh hat.
He had a lot of good information. Just like he spewed facts at such a high rate of speed. Because he let us know that it was the first public building built in the Morongo Basin. And during the mid-30s, it had maple floors for dances because it was also a community building. And it was built in 1927 for $300. And then it cost $22,000 to move the dang thing over there. But Bill's he's kind of like that character in a video game that comes in and just gives you a ton of information, but then they just leave.
Wow, you caught a lot more the content of his conversation with Huell than I did, obviously. But
it's when Kathleen brought you the pizza. So.
The pizza came in, yeah.
Yeah, I was busy doing my job here. It's okay. But that's about it. With the school moving in 29 Palms.
Huell, where are we going next?
Yeah.
It's modern, it's shiny, it's upscale, and it's oh so she. Welcome to the west side of Los Angeles, specifically to the West Side Pavilion on Pico Boulevard, a huge shopping center filled with all the right stores and all the right people. And right across the street from all this, looking a little overwhelmed by it all, is another place filled with all the right people. A little wooden structure, a restaurant called the Apple Pan. It's been a part of this neighborhood since 1947. Long before all this upscale stuff was even around. Now, we arrived just in time for lunch, and the place was packed. Lots of activity. All 26 red stools were taken, and we quickly discovered that most of the customers have been coming here for years. These are regulars who come to scarf up the tasty burgers and the homemade apple pie, and most importantly, soak up the friendly atmosphere.
Hey, bro, let's go to the mall, yeah?
My favorite. Get a Cinnabon.
Whoa, at the West Side Pavilion. So, yeah, we're wherever the West Side Pavilion is.
I didn't look it up. I have no idea.
All right, let's
West
look
LA.
It up. Let's look it up. Hold on.
This is amazing.
All right, we're back. This is some high-dollar real estate right here.
Yeah, they weren't lying.
Yeah, because we're not here to talk about the West Side Pavilion, as you heard. We're here to talk about the Apple Pan, which could not be more antithetical to this area of Los Angeles. It makes sense why Huell would, even back then, in the early 90s, think that this was like a throwback, because it really is. And it still is, because it's still around.
Well, I hope the memories, the ones that Huell made or that we got to see, I wonder if the same characters are still in this place.
Oh, the guy who described the kind of people you can meet?
Yeah.
Oh, the men in suits? The hippies in dungarees? And the very interesting-looking women. That's who you can expect at the Apple Pan.
You know, in this, too, there were some very peculiar interactions or things that happen.
Totally.
This is all in one go, too.
Yeah. You can tell that's all happened in like a 10-minute span. Because this isn't like a stay and talk kind of a place. And I just noticed, go back a second. As soon as we come in, like we're showing outside shots. Louis comes in, gets his first inside shot, and this guy walks in, comes and sits at the counter wearing the coolest Zubaz I've ever seen. And if you don't know what a Zubaz is, Zubaz, I've heard it said two ways. They were these kind of like weightlifter, loud printed pants from the like 80s and 90s. Mm-hmm. They had like an elastic waistband. They're just cotton pants that pro wrestlers would wear all the time. And I always wondered, why did they wear them so much? And then I did some cool wrestling research that makes me cool and have lots of friends. The Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors were partial owners.
No way.
Of the Zubaz Corporation. Yeah. So that's why.
So that was like tap out for the...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I thought they were breakdancing pants. So you learn something every day.
Yeah. But this is just a little tiny place. I think 40-something seats, Huell said. 20-something? I don't remember. Right off the bat, you can tell people love to act like they know what's going on in this place.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about those cups?
Is it a paper cone that fits inside of a red plastic cup?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, then I kind of like it. I don't know. Something different.
So, you remember, like, with water coolers, that used to be one of the options of cup? There was, like, that conical
and you
shape.
always just smash it with your hand when you try to pull it out.
Exactly. It's those, but they solved that problem by having this little red plastic kind of holder. And speaking of holding things, the first interview we get, or the second interview after the men in suits, hippies, and dungarees guy, is Huell talks to this woman just in all yellow. And she's got sunglasses on the inside, which seems to be a prerequisite to coming in the building, is you keep your sunglasses on. And she gets handed her burger.
Are you sure it's for her?
I don't know, because Huell grabs it multiple times from her. And this poor lady, you know what's funny is she's got her regular glasses sitting in front of her, but she doesn't switch them out.
It's a bright place inside.
It ain't that bright.
Southern California. It's sunny.
Oh, give me a break.
I'm trying to help her out here. It is weird.
But Huell keeps trying to grab it. She's laughing, talking about how her nutritionist is going to be mad at her and all this stuff. And Huell, stop touching her food, Huell. I mean, I know it's wrapped in paper, but like...
This is what we're talking about. I love it, though. Just reach in there and...
Grab a grab.
Grab it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's...
So the way that they serve this ketchup, too...
Yeah, it's on a plate, and it doesn't even take up the whole plate. It's just sort of a glob of ketchup.
Yeah, like on a little tiny paper plate. I've never seen anything like that.
Me neither.
But then the next interview is with some German tourists. Where'd they say? Heidelberg?
Heidelberg. It's a college town in Germany.
Yeah. They said they read in a LA tourist book that this is the best hamburgers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know from experience recently, because Bakersfield recently was an establishment in Bakersfield, in Nuestro Mexico, was given the honor of having the best tacos in all of California.
And Reddit lit on fire.
Dude. People were so mad that Bakersfield would be given such an honor. Which, it's all subjective. Like, no one cares about those kind of things. But can you imagine being called the best hamburger in the world?
That's a heavy load to bear.
Imagine if Reddit existed back then.
The world subreddit would go on.
Dude.
Or the world.
Yeah. But they seem to be into it. They didn't say they were disappointed. So
I like
there's one person's opinion.
Reddit in a book.
I
like it.
Yeah. And then we get the hickory guy. He's like bragging about knowing about the hickory sauce.
Did you notice the fries?
Yeah.
He has some dangly fries. And
yeah, because the fries are on those little dishes too.
Yeah, and they're kind of just hanging over the plate, and it's almost like playing pickup sticks.
Yeah.
You know, it's just laying on the side. Half of it's on the plate, half of it's not on the plate. Okay. So as he's showing Huell his hickory sauce,
yeah,
which he it's a very long explanation, but it doesn't need to be.
Oh, that's ketchup? No, it's hickory sauce. Okay, done. But no.
No, he explains they've developed it over the years, whatever. Mm-hmm. Did you notice before the camera cuts away, like the scene cuts?
Oh, yeah.
The guy next to him snags a few fries. The one specifically laying on the table, as if one of the rules in this establishment is if your fries are touching the table, then they're fair game for anybody.
Well, let me ask you. If you have this kind of situation where a food touches a table in a restaurant, do you eat it?
Depends on the place.
All right.
I'll go with yes.
Yeah, okay. Me too.
Because it depends. Because what I imagine when I think if I'm going to eat off this table is how dirty is that soapy rag they use?
True.
That they wipe the table down with. And if
But then I always think, like, would I lick this table? And really the answer is always no. But
maybe doors.
They got some clean tables there for sure.
They do. And you also might get some residue of the marshmallow whip.
I'll never argue with a single molecule of marshmallow from anyone. I'll take it. But Huell continues on with the interviews. Some of them are pretty. Oh, this guy. Yeah, he doesn't say much until the end when he says his burger is a gastronomic delight.
Right, and did you notice that he's the same guy wearing your Zumba pants? What did you call them?
Oh, he is. He's Zuba's boy.
Zuba boys.
He also kind of looks like Kiefer Sutherland.
And he's wearing the glasses just like Kiefer does.
In the Lost Boys.
In the Lost Boys. Oh, no, yeah, Lost Boys, that's right.
Yeah, tip of the nose.
Just hanging off the tip of the nose, and I don't know.
Oh, well. Well, Huell kind of changes gears here, and he starts talking to the employees, and it's like one-upmanship about who's worked here the longest. And this dude, Charlie, just blows everyone out of the water.
It's like, oh, no, for 13 years. Oh, no, 16 years.
36 years.
So long.
And Huell just is asking him kind of simple burger questions. Like, oh, devil's advocate. A burger is a burger is a burger. What makes these so special? Like, don't put this dude on the spot.
I know. Well, he comes back and Charlie says, well, we make them fresh.
Yeah.
Basically, is the answer we get.
Good beef, fresh. And then he claims to have wrapped millions of burgers, which any other time I would disagree, but 36 years, probably so.
Dude, seriously. So long.
Then we move on to the owners of the place, and it seems like it's 3 generations here. Like the daughter, granddaughter, great-granddaughter of the original owners. And they're also shy acting.
Yeah. They also all have different last names.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious that it's kind of like the family name isn't so much. It's just the bloodline of these daughters down the road. But
okay, now we got to prepare ourselves for this one. Because this is the crown jewel of the entire episode. I'm going to say the episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone get ready.
Okay. Let me set the stage.
Put just everybody, if you are able to, go to Chapman's website.
Yeah.
Just type in 307.
Well, the link is in the description of this show. I put them in everyone. Please hit it right now.
Perfect. Click it. Fast forward to 25 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the man that we're talking to now, you should recognize him. He was the one sitting next to the lady in yellow who was wearing the sunglasses and getting their burger grabbed. So this guy, he's just talking. I don't even remember what he was saying, honestly, because I was freaking out about what happened. He's just sitting there pontificating about burgers, and he kind of talks with his hands. He's doing this kind of like rotating his hands, and he rests it, and his hands sitting open. And someone from out of shot just puts a napkin in his hand. And without missing a beat, he just
closes it.
He just accepts it. And that's just what the life is now. Just, yeah, I got a napkin. And I'm going to fold it and get ready and just talk, and then that's just how my life is now.
Like every time you watch, it just gets funnier because then he still uses his hands to talk, and his thumb is just across like a B in sign language. Like, just. Oh man, that's
I wish
good.
he had just stopped the episode there, but he didn't. He talked to the owner outside a bit,
and she did say, you know what? But on principle, we're not going to sell this place. It's been here too long, and like you said, we looked it up.
Still going.
Still there.
But that, unfortunately, is it for the buildings.
Well, we end on a high note, though.
Yeah, we do. I thought this would be kind of one of those difficult to get a good show out of it, but this was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Napkin Man put it over the top. But if you want to have a real good opinion, because we heard earlier these best burgers in the world, whatever. Huell proclaims, last 2 words he says,
the best. With one finger. Just the whole...
Number one.
The
best. Mouth full, slams another bite. And then we just go to the credits, and we're seeing the school getting moved again, and that's where we get our outro theme, which you'll hear in a second. And that was the end of the buildings.
Wasn't half bad.
Not even 3/4 bad.
Well, there you go.
Well, I think we need to talk about where we're going next week, because it's a doozy. Where are we going?
We are going to Kern County, first of all. That's in general.
Darn tootin'.
In particular, we're going to Colonel Allensworth State Park, and then we're going to head up the 178, stop off. We're going to pass Old Bella.
Yeah.
We're going to pass Old Wofford Heights.
Yeah.
And we're going into Kernville.
Oh, which Kernville? You'll have to find out.
Ooh, it's a good one.
This is one of our favorite places. I lived there as a kid for a while, near and dear to the heart.
And we visit there fairly often.
So often, in fact, that we're going to do a live taping from Kernville next week. We don't know how that's going to be. It might be horrible, but it's going to be fun.
Either way, we'll post it.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners, ahead of time, or you're welcome. Either way, it was fun this week. It'll be fun next week. And we hope that you come along with us next time as we continue our search for Huell's Gold.
Well, as always, I'd like to thank you for coming with us on this journey and invite you to join us again next time as we continue our search together for California's gold. The best. The best.